We are back, everybody, with another episode of Macy's Parade in Pop Culture, as we are looking into our final television series episode in the pop culture for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, as we're looking at the third, or I think it's the third or fourth, it really depends on what you view it, the third episode, I believe, of the second season of the Nickelodeon series True Jackson VP, episode 28 in general, True Parade. Now, obviously, Nickelodeon was kind of at its really top peak during the late 2000s into early 2010s with some of their live action shows. Well, obviously, I know that it is not a great time to talk about a lot of the shows, most notably the ones by Dan Schneider, ever since we just had the release of the docu-miniseries Quiet on Set released from HBO, or specifically the Max streaming service, like basically one of the Warner Brothers studios that does the documentaries. Now, I thought True Jackson VP was one of the shows created by Dan Schneider. It's actually not. I did not realize it was actually created by a man named Andy Gordon, who actually also created no, he created the show, but he is also notable for writing episodes of The Big Bang Theory and Modern Family. So I did not know he created that. So I don't know how that work environment is compared to the ones created by Dan Schneider. Obviously, we know how the Scott Fellows shows went with Ned's Declassified and Big Time Rush, and obviously all the live action Nick Jr. stuff. So I think I did mention my Macy's Parade ranked the songs video in 2009. I thought I stated she escaped the Dan Schneider curse when, well, technically she is, but isn't at the same time because she never appeared on a Dan Schneider show. Like, that show was never created by him. Now, I actually do remember this making its premiere on television, this episode, on December 12th, 2009. And as many of you know, Keke Palmer was in the actual Macy's Parade in 2009 performing Top of the World. And she would actually return later on in 2020, the pandemic year, with her explicit song Dreamcatcher. So I do remember watching this episode when it obviously aired, but I never watched the entire show itself. I think it was just something that was not my interest. The only thing I know more about True Jackson VP, other than Keke Palmer with her parade appearances, her songs, and even some other appearances she has done outside of Nickelodeon, is just that her co-stars Matt Shively and Ashley Argota were competitors on the Stars of Nickelodeon's edition of the game show Brain Surge. And Matt Shively was a two-time champion, and even Ashley did got one as well. So, in this episode, setting exactly on Thanksgiving, so I don't know why these people are actually working on this holiday, but their boss, Max, aka this Drew Carey lookalike, is actually asking all of their designers to do something, a big major promotion of, I don't know what designs, I think they're close designers, I believe. I'm not sure what the show is really, what their main company status is, to basically make a special design for the holidays. And True had the idea of having game show host Bert Burlington to wear one of their jackets. Little did she not know that Max does not like Bert Burlington after he appeared in one of the game shows that was hosted by him. And because Bert Burlington was actually going to perform in the Macy's Parade in this, what is, I would say, this Build-A-Bear Workshop knockoff, because, of course, they couldn't really show the actual product because because of copyright issues or licensing, unlike some of the NBC shows or even the PBS ones, are not afraid to censor licensing, but this is a Nickelodeon one, so. And obviously, their parent company, Viacom, is very strict when it comes to copyright, but this is just an audio series, or podcast series, I would say. So she has to sneak her way into the parade route, or before the parade begins, which almost looks like it's setting either during the afternoon or evening, because it's basically this entire episode is just one full day, and usually, of course, the parade takes place in the morning, and not around, like, the entire day or something like that. And I felt confused about that when I thought it was that the parade took all night in the Seinfeld episode, but of course that wasn't. While on the side of that, Lulu, which is Ashley's character, and Ryan, which is Matt Shively's character, are both kind of dealing with the situation from a fortune teller, especially from Ryan because he's a bit nervous that he might break his arm and Lulu could receive $1,000, which of course we know what happens. But there are many other reasons also telling other things that could happen with True's story as well. So I will give a little bit of a heads up straight up of my thoughts on the episode here. Now, I would like to talk about this weird experience I had because for some reason, even though it is a Nickelodeon show, only the first season of True Jackson VP is on Paramount Plus. I don't know if the second or third season were removed or something. Like, they have been removed, but I don't know why they were not available anymore in Paramount Plus. I don't even have other streaming platforms, so, and I didn't really have enough money to do a rental on, like, Apple TV Plus or something like that, because it was only, like, $1.99. So I had to watch it through Daily Motion, and of course, because how to avoid the copyrightiness on Daily Motion, it is all mirrored and all fast forward. But I kind of did remember the source of the Build-A-Bear thing, but not much on the the parade part of the episode, but not much of the entirety of the episode itself. So it was kind of very high pitched. So it is a weird experience, but I did hear the original voices like through, I think, clips of other episodes to make things a bit easier. And honestly, I think this episode is actually kind of, mainly in the main side of True's side of the story, kind of funny. It actually was kind of a funny episode, specifically, and even learning how Max really despises Burt Burlington. It just, like, I don't know, it just, like, especially, I think it's just my experience with Daily Motion, just hearing that high-pitched voice of Max's character almost sounding like Drew Carey there. That's why I kind of almost felt like Drew Carey almost got cast in the show, but that was not him, of course. But he did, in the Daily Motion version, it does sound like him in a high-pitched voice, so that was pretty funny. And as well, just this entire plot of just Ryan figuring out how to not get his arm breaking. It was a very great subplot, to say the least, of just all the connections and even with the fortune teller things as well. I would be jealous of Lulu, but I wouldn't say in today's status it would be 1,000. I would say in today's status it would be $100,000. The parade portions, there's obviously not much, of course, because it's just I don't know if they actually legit filmed that outdoor scene of the float on parade day, because Keke is in her parade outfit, because if you see in the actual episode when she's her true character, she's wearing these shiny pants, and obviously they are not present in the when she was at the parade round. And I'm guessing because since she's in her parade outfit, I think they did it on that day. Obviously you can tell the whole fight with True on this, I think, gopher suit, and Burt, I think that was all green screen, so I don't know why Burt Burlington would perform, because he doesn't feel like a singer compared to, I would say, True, so I would probably take True doing a performance more so than Burt. And I really love how they actually showed a little backstory on Max and Burt Burlington of him appearing on that game show, and just how like he really despises him just because of how idiotic Burt Burlington is in his view. And then, of course, there's all these other predictions that occurred, like who was, like, a president, but, of course, it wasn't what we think it is. And, ironically enough, I'm actually recording this episode on Election Day, by the way. So, I know that's weird to say this, but it's already been over a week since Election Day, so I'm recording this without even knowing what's gonna happen, so what happens in the future, I really don't know. Yeah, there's really not a lot of parade moments, of course, that are mentioned. I just still have the question, why is the parade on, like, why is everyone working on parade day? I thought it was, like, the day after, like, they were working the day before, and then the day after they all got together for the celebration, but it just makes no sense for them working on Thanksgiving Day. That's just my own opinion, I would say. It just makes no sense. That's the only critique I had. If it was like they did it the day before, and then True would just go and try to get that jacket the day of, with all of them watching at home, I think it would have been a lot better. And that basically kind of is a short wrap up here. There's really not much lot to say. I actually really did like this episode for what it was. Not great, but it was a very entertaining one, even though it was a weird experience doing it through Daily Motion because I couldn't watch the actual episode properly because it's not available on Paramount Plus for some reason. So that actually kind of wraps it up, and I think the entirety of the television side of the pop culture aspects. And the next episode, we are going into the realms of movies, and we are going to a 1980s black and white film that has a lot of pre-existing parade footages for many years of somebody witnessing it throughout the route, made by what was America's favorite comedic director.